Hello, everyone. All right. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the Gilded Age from the years of 1870 to 1890. What does that word mean? What is gilded? Well, gilded is referring to an object that is covered in a layer of gold. Okay. But beneath that layer of gold, it's not gold. It might be some rotten piece of metal, right? It's not a solid gold object, but it appears to be golden because it has a layer of gold around it. Well, that is a metaphor for this period of time. Why? Because it appeared to be a golden age for the US, but really it wasn't for everybody, only for some. We're talking about the leaders of industry during this time, people like J.P. Morgan, John D. Rockefeller. We'll talk more about them as we move forward. But for these business tycoons or robber barons, as they were known, it was a great period of time, enormous wealth, okay? And for the politicians who corroborated with them, it was also a great period of time because they got wealthy too, okay? But for the rest of the population, the workers, it was hard economic times. So why do we have a Gilded Age in the first place? Why is there enormous wealth? Well, it's because the United States entered into a period known as the Second Industrial Revolution. And in the first part of early US history, we talked about the Industrial Revolution. Well, now there's a second Industrial Revolution in the late 1800s. And why? What is propelling this second Industrial Revolution? Well, there's a huge amount of natural resources in the United States. Why? Because there was a huge expansion in territory for the US. All right. A large amount of territory came through the Mexican-American War in the late 1840s. Before that, Texas was annexed into the nation. And then the Louisiana Purchase led to huge amounts of territory coming into the hands of the United States. So now we got all these natural resources, and those natural resources can be used in factories to develop manufactured products which could be sold and people can get rich, right? The owners of the companies. And then you also have an increased amount of labor, a large labor supply during this period of time. Why? Because you got a lot of immigration coming from Europe, okay? Millions of individuals coming to the US and working in industrial factories, okay? So there's a lot of labor, and if there's a lot of labor, you don't have to pay them that much because there's not a big demand for labor, okay? So low wages. You also have urban migration happening, where individuals who, are US citizens, they're from the US, but they move from the more rural farm areas to the cities, to the urban areas. Another factor that contributed to this second industrial revolution is there's a larger market for goods. People are starting to move out west. People are moving to California, to Oregon, to New Mexico. And now these are new markets where goods that are being produced in the industrial areas of the country, like in the East and in the Midwest, they're able to sell their goods to people who are living in the West now. And how are they able to get their goods there? Through the railroad, okay? We have here a map of the railroad as it expanded into the 1880s. All of a sudden now the country is connected by railroad lines, all right? And that's a major change because now all these markets are accessible. You could be transporting goods, even agricultural goods that may spoil, but they can get there quick now because of the railroad. So it opens up new markets, more consumers to buy these goods that are being mass produced in factories. And also you have a lot of capital available, okay? There is capital to be invested in these industries. Where's the capital coming from? It's coming from the stock exchange in New York. It's coming from banks in Boston and also in New York as well. These large banks were investing large amounts of capital into developing corporations at this time, okay? So that's how the corporations are able to expand because they're getting all of this investment coming from banks and also from the stock exchange. So all of these factors come together and contribute to the rise of this second industrial revolution.